Welcome to this 30-minute flexibility and balance session. I'm DeDe, and we're about to get into some seated moves which will develop strength, muscular endurance, and balance so we can be better at walking. Better at walking because maybe we'll take longer strides. Maybe we'll walk for longer durations, or we'll have better foot action, better foot mobility. All of those things lend themselves to being a better walker. You'll need athletic shoes, you'll need a sturdy armless chair, you'll need plenty of space around you, you'll need some water. Put that off to the side. And here's the key item that you'll need. 2 sliding objects. I'm on a wood floor, so I use cloths. These are just 2 microfiber cloths. You can use 2 cloths of any fabric. If you're on a carpeted floor, you'll need 2 paper plates or 2 plastic storage bowl lids. You can also choose to do this without anything under your feet, that's fine. So, let's have a seat. So grab your sliding objects, whatever you're going to be using, have a seat. Now watch, separate your feet, put your hand on your leg, place them under the chair until we're ready for them. And then we'll walk our feet back in. We're tall, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Legs are even and straight with one another. Take your arms down, and you can choose to hold on to the chair, or you can put your hands in your lap, or do some of my arm movements, whatever suits you best. All right, let's tap the toes right and left. Tap right, tap left. So speaking of whatever suits you best, make sure that you only do the moves as they feel suitable and comfortable for you. So if something feels inappropriate, you can skip it, you can take one of my modifications, or you can find a modification that works for you. You can come up with that on your own. Just keep it safe. I'll give you lots of modifications. Lifting the toes up high, keeping the heels down. Now let's speed this up. So we go tap right, tap left, tap right, tap left. So the beginning of the foot strike when we're taking a step, when we're walking, is this. It's called dorsiflexion of your ankle. So the more you can pick your toes up and strike with your heel, the better your walking stride's going to be. Now let's tap out to the side. So turn your feet out just a little bit. The tap back to the front. Make sure your feet are about hip joint distance apart. Now angle your toes in and tap. And then back to the front. Feel the difference? I can. I hope you can too. Now let's lift the heels up, both heels. They're up and they're down. Try and maintain your upright, straight, neutral posture. Now let's alternate our heels. Arms can come down. Let's go right heel up, left heel up. Right heel up, left heel up. And we're swinging the arms, opposite arm with the heel that's lifting. So this is almost like we're walking, isn't it? So on our trailing foot when we're walking, we have to come up into what is called plantar flexion, which is this kind of pointy toes position. And we really want to bend across our toe joints when we do that. And the more flexible our toes are, the easier it is for us to do that. And if you rock your shoulders a little bit from side to side, even if you're not swinging your arms, if you can do that though, it kind of replicates walking, doesn't it? Now let's go quick, quick, slow. Quick, quick, slow. Quick, quick, slow. Can we do it with bent elbows? If you're moving your arms, keep them bent now. Quick, quick, slow. Quick, quick, slow. Last 4. That's 3. Now we're going to do a combination. 1 set of toes up and 1 heel up. So it's heel and toes, and then switch, toes and heel. Heel and toes, toes and heel. So I'm lifting one heel while I'm lifting the other set of toes. And then we switch. And then we switch. So can you go faster? Switch, switch, switch. Now when your heel comes up, your arm goes forward on that opposite side. Uh-oh, now I'm messed up. You keep going even if I mess up. There. I might be on the opposite side from you, but I got the pattern back. So one of the reasons why we do a little bit of complexity in a session like this is because we want to train our brain to talk to our body better, a little bit of brain fitness. And so I just had a little failure of my brain fitness right there. But I got it back. But that happens. It happens to all of us. Four more. Now let's take a heel dig out in front. Hold the chair, right heel and in, and left heel and in with the opposite arm now. So notice that I'm setting this up with one hand still holding the chair. You can stay with that, or you can add both arms forward. Now one of the challenges here is remaining tall, straight, and neutral through your torso. So if you're leaning back, you have to sit back up again, even if it means holding on. So try not to lean back. Keep lifting up through the top of your head. So this is in a way replicating that heel strike when you're walking. Remember I talked about the heel strike? Let's go back to the opposite arm forward. So one arm goes back while the opposite arm goes forward. Get a little torso turn, maybe a little head turn too. How do you feel about this one? Let's try to go a little faster. Quick, quick, slow. Quick, quick, and slow. Quick, quick, and slow. You don't have to turn your head back and forth. If that makes you feel a little dizzy, don't do it. Just keep looking forward like this. You can still turn your torso though, even when you're not turning your head, see? And slow. Quick, quick, and slow. You can still turn the torso. I encourage you to turn your head along with your torso if it feels okay, because that helps us with balance. Now let's go up on our toes. This time we resist with our hands. Now, can you resist with your hands without elevating your shoulders? Try. Feel your core muscles switch on. You can actually put your hand there and feel your abdominal muscles, your back muscles, some of the muscles through your waist switching on, can't you? We have four more. Make sure you're not holding your breath, especially while you're pushing like this. One more. Now we have some hip hinges. Inhale, sitting up. Exhale, forward. Again. Now make sure your back is still neutral. Right? Your belly is still long, even when you're forward. Now, how about if we slide the hands past the knees? How far past the knees is totally your call. Remember, you're doing what feels appropriate for you at the speed and the range of motion that works for you, as long as you're following my guidelines for safety. Like for example, right now, make sure your feet are not too far back that your feet are right underneath your knees. So when you lean forward, you have the support of your feet. So you don't feel precarious in your chair. One more. Now we sit all the way up. Turn your palms forward. Inhale, open your chest. Exhale, palms together. Do it again. Hi, Prissy. So if we can open our chest here, that makes us better at walking because we can walk more upright instead of leaning forward or hunched forward. Now open at the diagonal and the other way. Feel free to keep your elbows more bent if you need to. When we're walking, we have to be very stable through our torso. Our torso is also called our core because our core is everything except our head and neck and our arms and our legs. So moving your arms like this while you're sitting up and being stable helps you be better at doing it when you're walking. Two more. One more. All right, now we take our hands here and we come forward. You can keep your hands here or you can rest your elbows on your legs. Stay here. Take a few breaths. Keep your neck long out of your shoulders. Then hands on your legs and press yourself up. Let's move our feet out to about shoulder width now. Inhale, open the arms. Exhale, twist. Look over your right shoulder. Let's go again to the left. Rotation feels so good, doesn't it? Especially if you've been upright, like we have been for the last several minutes, stabilizing. And speaking of stabilizing, keep your legs stable. I always like to remind you to do that. So then when you pull or push on your leg with your hand, it doesn't go anywhere. It provides you with some stability and some leverage. All right, let's come to the center. Inhale, hand on your leg. Exhale, side bend. And then switch. Side bend. And switch. How does your arm feel, your top arm? Do you need to keep it bent, or are you okay with it straightening out a little more? You feel stable? You still feel comfortable in your shoulder? If so, then you might be okay straightening your arm a little more. Two more. All right, then we come back to the center. Move your feet a little bit wider. Hands on your legs. Inhale. Exhale, hinge forward. Wider stance means you feel it in a different spot. So maybe now you feel it more in your inner thighs. Same guidelines as before, with the shoulders nice and calm. The shoulders are down. Let's twist. Drop one shoulder, center the other shoulder. Remember, our movement does not have to be fancy to be effective. I've seen people sabotage their fitness routines by trying to make it too fancy. And then it gets so complicated or time-consuming or complex. that they kind of lose interest. So keep it simple. It doesn't have to be fancy. One more of these twists. All right, now the feet are wide. Grab your chair, let's turn sideways. Lunging, 90 degrees with both of our knees. Now this back leg is bent, and then watch. We straighten it a little more as we lean forward. Again, you're upright, and then you lean forward as you push your heel. You're still holding on with your hands, though. So if we're taking a big stride when we're walking, can you see how this is almost the same shape as a big stride? Or if you're walking up a hill, or up some stairs or some bleachers, or you're hiking up, you might find yourself in a position like this. All right, let's come to the other side now. Holding on, both hands on the seat, one hand on the seat, one hand on the back of the chair. Any of those are good. All right, so the back leg now, we inhale, and then we exhale and push. And push. So you should feel a little stretch in your back calf, your ankle, and as you sit up, you should feel it more in your hip flexors and your quadriceps. 2 more now. If you're tight in any of those places, you'll notice it. It will affect your walking in a negative way. All right, and then we come back to the center. Keep your feet apart. One hand on your leg, you're going to grab your sliding objects, whatever they are. And if you miss the beginning, if you're on a hard floor like I am, use 2 cloths. If you're on a carpeted floor, use 2 plastic lids or 2 paper plates. You can also choose to do this without anything under your tiptoes. That's where we're starting. Sitting up tall, legs are even and straight in line with your hip joints. You're on your tiptoes. Hold the chair at first. Now let's try taking our right and then left leg forward. So we go right and then left. Straight ahead. Now let's try taking them out to the side a little bit. You can keep your knee bent. Other way. So going out to the side doesn't have a lot to do with walking, but it does have to do with fall prevention and strengthening some of the stabilizers that we use when we're walking. You might also feel a stretch in your inner thigh, maybe some activity in your outer hip. Now let's go forward again. How about opposite arm? Can you try it? I invite you to keep holding on with both hands if you need to. Remember, you can stop and get a drink anytime you need to. All right, hold the chair. Let's go out to the side. And then the other side. Now, how do you feel about same side arm going out? Still holding on with the one hand. Now we're going forward. How about both arms? Right leg and left leg. Does it feel okay with both arms? If it does, go for it. How are you doing being on your tiptoes all this time? All right, let's stop. Now we change to heels. And whether it's tiptoes or heels, you want to place that part of your foot in the center of your sliding object. Let's go right leg forward and way back, and again, right leg forward and way back. Keep your toes up. Now switch. Left leg forward and way back. So it actually goes back close to going under your chair. But keep your toes up. Now switch. Forward, way back. Now switch. So you should be starting to get some fatigue maybe in the top of your foot or the front of your ankle. Let's try turning now. Turning opposite shoulder forward, so it's right leg. That means it's left shoulder forward. Can we switch? So it's a little bit of rotation and a little bit of shoulder forward. Still holding on to the chair. Now let's try it again with the right leg and the left shoulder. And then if you're comfortable, reach your left hand down toward your shin. Doesn't have to touch, but it can touch. Ready to switch? Let's go. So just a little bit of rotation, but the back stays long and neutral. And switch. Can you feel the fatigue? Top of the foot, front of the ankle. If it's getting fatigued, it's also getting stronger, remember. One more time with the left leg. And then we stop. Let's lower the toes down, step off of the gliding objects. Take your hands on your legs. Let's exhale and come forward. Inhale and come up. Do it again. One more. Okay, let's take our tiptoes back on. Now, this involves more core, and it's less about walking, more about core strengthening. Watch. Feet to one side, feet to the other side. Now, I want you to use your chair as a guide. You want to go out in line with the legs of your chair or beyond if you can. Now, we're definitely holding on to the chair here with both hands. In fact, the hands are helping to navigate your legs. So the arms are pushing and pulling, stabilizing, so your core can do some of that stuff too. It's okay if you can't go bigger than your chair. You just go as big as you can. Make sure you're still breathing and your shoulders are down. Can we do quick, quick, slow? Quick, quick, slow. Quick, quick, slow. Keep breathing. 4 more. 2 more. Remember, if it's too fast, you go a little slower. And stop. Step off of the sliding object. Forearms or hands on your legs. Just rest. So did you feel how your back muscles were working? Your waist muscles, your core, the front of your core, the side, the back, everything. All right, and then we're coming up. Now, separate your feet. Get rid of one of your cloths. Keep the other one right in front. Now we're going to go back to this lunge. And we'll place the foot that's closest to one another. The tiptoes go on the cloth. So then we slide back. We bend forward. We come up, feel the stretch. Slide back in, right in front of the chair. Do it again, 4 parts. 1, bend forward 2, keep your back straight. Sit up 3, bring the foot in front of the chair. Do it again, can you feel it? Big stride, hip hinge, big stretch. 1 more. Now stay right here. Can you stay there? Sit up as tall as you can. Keep dropping your hip down toward the ground. So make sure you're right at the edge of the chair. If you're going to make an adjustment though, you may want to take your foot off of your sliding object. Now, we're going to try and grab the back of the chair with both hands, okay? So if you can't turn far enough around to grab it with both hands, just grab it with one hand, and your other hand can be on your leg. Stay here. Keep pushing the sliding object away from you with your foot. All right, let's release that. Put the cloth right in front, step off of it. Let's make our way around. Put your tiptoes on. 4 parts now. Back, hinge forward, up, and in. Again, back, like a big long stride. And then a hip hinge, and here's the big stretch. Here it is. And then slide your foot in front of the chair. 2 more. Remember, we want to be so much better at walking by increasing our stride length, the duration of our walk, by having a stronger core so we can stabilize better. Hold it here now. Breathe. Dropping your hip down toward the ground to the best of your ability. Now holding onto the back of the chair with one or both hands. So one hand or both hands. Push the sliding object away from you. Make your leg longer. Then let's release that. Slide your foot back in front of the chair, step off. Legs apart, one hand on your leg. They're both underneath your chair now. Remember, you could do any of that stuff that we just did without the sliding objects. So we're sitting away from the back of the chair. We're either pointing our toe and circling our ankle this way, or we're actually picking our foot up and circling our ankle this way. Make sure you go both directions, around to one side and the other. And then bring your foot down if it's up. And then we'll do the other side, either here or here. Make sure you're still sitting up. All right, and bring both feet down. Now let's stretch our wrists a little bit since we had to use our hands quite a bit. Side to side with your elbows still pointing down at your lap. One more time. Okay, ankles and knees together. Cross your right ankle on top of your left ankle, or your right ankle on top of your left knee. Flex your foot if you're up here. Lift up, up through the top of your head, and then if you can, lean forward a little bit. And then we're sitting up, and we're switching sides, ankle over ankle or ankle over knee. Sit up tall first, flex your foot if you're up here, and then forward. Feels so good on the hip, doesn't it? If it doesn't feel good, you might be pushing yourself too far into the stretch too quickly. So make it feel pleasant. If you push yourself too far into a stretch too quickly, it can actually have the opposite effect. It can cause you to tighten up because your connective tissue is trying to protect itself. So don't approach it that way. Approach it gently. All right, and then bring your foot down. Now we'll do a chest expansion. So we did this with some motion earlier. Let's do it in a static or holding way. So turn your palms forward, slide your arms back, Stay here. So there's pulling the arms back, and then there's pulling the shoulder blades back. So make sure you're doing the latter rather than the former. And then release. Now we'll roll the shoulders up and back and down. And one more time. All right, so how did you do with that? Do you see how we were targeting our walking stride and just being a better walker in general in this session? I hope so. We all go for a walk. That's one of the number one ways people pursue fitness is through walking. So if we can be better at it, that's much better. So thanks for joining me. And until next time, stay well.